Make sure it's recording this time. What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James. 22 years selling full-time on eBay. Got some good news today. And I got a question. Is AI smarter than the human who created them? Because I got a scenario for you. This is a posh order, vintage Russell blank sweatshirt. Sold for $14. Go ahead and get that out right quick and out of the way. And then got some orders here from eBay. And I want to try something new. So I got asked the question, if I'm getting the results I want, why would I try something new and change it? And the answer is because I can go back to that. So if I can tweak something to get a little bit better of a reaction out of my store, or to put more money in my pocket, then it's worth trying for, say, a week and then going backwards if I have to, because I didn't really lose anything. Well, maybe. But you know what I mean, like. So what I decided to do yesterday is turn off my promotions. And I was going to turn them back on, but now I'm going to kind of be more direct. So I'm like, I was thinking yesterday, I'm like, well, clothes is a very competitive market. So let's give clothing, and I put clothing, shoes, and hats all into that bracket. And we know hats have really, competition's way up now since I first started the hat thing. So I'm like, let's take those and separate them from everything else. So everything else I put back to the, what is it, 5 and 7. So 5 for under $10, 7 for over. And the clothes I pulled out separate. I'm like, let's set up an experiment with just clothes and see if I can get my clothes volume up. We already know what 5 and 7 produces on everything. Let's see if we can get more out of the clothes. So I'm like, it's a more competitive market. So let's start out with the original where I used to promote at 15%. So I put my clothes at 15 and everything else is at the 5 and 7. So I'll give that a week, see how the numbers look, and then we'll dictate the close, basically. So kind of just breaking it down now and try to tweak each category eventually to its best ability to bring in a lot more sales, a lot more profit. So we'll see. We will see. So that's the next test. I'll get into the good news in a minute. Let's look at numbers from yesterday. Yesterday wasn't that great. Only $515, but at least still, got my low end that I need to get. So that's at least good. Unlike last Thursday. So this morning we were at 10:15 a.m. I'm at $117 right now. So about the typical normal start off day. There did seem to be a lull overnight between 12:30 and 7:30. So another 6-hour window there that looked like things were shut down. Saturday, $769. Friday was kind of a pooper too, $534. So did more Friday than I did Sunday. But I did turn I did have a disruption in my promotions yesterday for a couple of hours. So did that make a difference? I don't know. Down 8.7 from the last 30 days. And I guess that would include actual numbers now, because I started this experiment January 27th, right? So January, now I guess maybe it wouldn't be then totally right on. So it wouldn't be perfect numbers. But the fact that that down is that low, I guess, compared to before I was doing it's a good thing. Number of items sold yesterday and the split. 32 items sold, 11 organic, 21 promoted. So bigger gap there. And Saturday was 50 items sold. So that's good. Today, 6 items sold so far, 5 promoted, 1 organic. So I wonder if what has sold the best since today is clothing or not. We got a hat, 8-track, a shirt, a CD. So not really. And another hat, and another hat. I think the pants and the shoes were bought a couple of days ago, but paid for today. So not bad. They updated the app, so it looks like this now. But 2 things I don't like about it: it takes a lot longer to upload pictures. The majority of the time, there are times where it will go quick, but then there are times where it's going to take 3 to 5 minutes to upload just 2 pictures. I'm like, come on. And so I'm constantly closing the app and bringing it back up to get it to work faster. So I did find that solution. If it's starting to take long, just close it up, do your little, swipe up on everything and reopen it and start over again. Another thing I'm not a fan of is I got here and I'm like, okay, where's my sold button? The drafts, 2,200 drafts right now, but my sold was usually right there. And I'm like, okay, it's up here now. So I click there, but the bad thing is it puts you on all first, then waiting for payment. So then you have to scroll over to buyer page, ship now, click that and pull your items. But then the bad thing is I always accidentally hit something while I'm pulling and end up backing out and have to go back in. And if you don't remember to go over again, like I started pulling something that had not been paid for. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's been paid for. I caught it, but that's a pain. So 2 pains with the update, just to give you a more accurate 90-day total. I don't even pay it. What does 90-day total have to do with it? I don't pay attention to 90-day totals. What's so significant about the 90-day total? I don't, whoop-de-doo. I'd rather have the week total. I don't get the 90-day total. I never got that. But anyway, that's enough of me and my complaints. Hopefully that's all the complaints I got, which is minimal, which is a good thing. Let's do some questions and comments. The beauty of our country is that you have freedom to create a business like ours, and the haters have the freedom of speech to bitch about it. That is correct. That's why you K1 them. Then you get to use their words against them, and for your benefit, I should say. Yeah. One person tried using K2. I told you about that before. They put K2 at the end of their statement. I'm like, if they knew what the K1 meant, I doubt they would be using K2, trying to act like they know what they're talking about. Rubbish, great word. Yeah, yesterday's video set off a few people. I like that. I like when I set off a few people. Maybe today's video I'll make something in the title that'll set off a few people. I get a kick out of that. Maybe I'll deem myself the king of all YouTube eBayers. You think that'll mess people up? I'll get some people angry. You are not the king. You can barely do that. Bring it. Give me your comments. K1. Thank you for this video. I was happy to see this because everyone talks about sell-through rate. And that's never really mattered much to me. I've bought things with zero sold and I have sold it the next day. I don't care what the sell-through rate of anything. Yeah, and that was just the basics. I think I said sell-through rate is not the be-all, end-all. You know, it's good for when you have lack of knowledge, right? Just starting out, lack of knowledge, or maybe just know one category. Sell-through rates, will save your butt. It's better than when I started, when we didn't even have phones to look things up, right? So, but the more you learn, the more you realize you can take chances on things because something in your instinct is saying, hey, I'm buying that. So the more knowledge you acquire, the better your instincts become. And then that has nothing to do with sell-through rate. All I care about is quality listings, quality pictures, and best offers turned on. And I know my items will sell. These YouTubers focusing on sell-through are hurting people. If they're not telling them it's good for beginners, I think, yeah, for the most part, it's almost, they're selling a method, and that's part of their method. Where me, I try to give every example across the board and use what fits for you. Most of them do it because they sell a method. And I don't know why I'm quoting, they actually literally sell a method. And I think that's why they do it. And it's set for beginners, So I think in the way it will hurt people is it makes them not grow. It gives them a reason to not grow because they can rely on the sell-through rate. So they don't have to learn anything. They just have to look it all up to see what its sell-through rate is and just leave it at that. But hey, if it works for you, it works for you, but do not use that as like a handicap to hinder your growth. So I actually stopped watching DR because he insulted my business model every day. Yeah, and that's like you talk about DR, and he had to switch his business model. Because now, from what I saw on one video where he bought all these shoes, and then I saw Whatnot where he was selling them for a few dollars a piece, and and it was basically a no-name brand shoe, I think. So I didn't know the name anyway. So they don't always preach what they sell you, and or things change, and that's the way it should be. Not every thrift store you go into, or even every community you go to thrift in, you're going to get the same results. You're going to get different variables. So it's good to learn as much as you can. One thing a lot of people fail to realize is that their perspective is not the only perspective. It is a sign of ignorance, and ignorance meaning lack of knowledge. It's not an insult. In my book, ignorance, the word ignorance, calling someone ignorant, it's not an insult. It just means you lack the knowledge of a certain topic or subject. And often a sign of stupidity. Well, stupidity is it's not the same as ignorance to me, but okay, that's your word, not mine. It is also the mark of failure. Instead of using stupidity or stupid, I like to use the word lazy. Because people are only at a certain level because what they put into it, right? I mean, I barely graduated high school because of what I put into it. So to some, that's stupid, right? To me, it's just lazy because I didn't need to learn anything more than what I do know now. Outside of my profession, if you will. Like quantum physics. I'm lazy about learning quantum physics because I don't need to learn it. So that's the way I kind of look at it. And I don't say I'm stupid at quantum physics because, I don't know, I could be smart at it. I just never dove into it. So that's why I kind of stay away from the word stupid myself. eBay controls almost every aspect of your business. They pull the strings. To a large degree, it's out of sellers' hands whether they succeed or fail. I would have to disagree with that comment. If you get sell-through rate stuff, good sell-through rate stuff, it's going to sell. If you get oddball stuff that nobody has up, like the stuff that you kind of see me selling here and there, it'll eventually sell. So, do they control the algorithm? Yes. Do they have a lot of control? A lot more than they used to? Yes. But I don't think they're going to dictate a failure or success necessarily. It's more like you have to adapt. And that's just with human nature from the beginning of time. If you don't evolve and adapt to the situation, you're going to die. And I've been doing this 22 years, and I've had to change things up in one way or another many, many times over the years. The manipulative eBay algo is making people go nuts. Now, I will agree with that part of it. Definitely making people go nuts. And that's because trying to figure it out. But like I said, even with all the experiments I'm doing to try to figure it out, it's difficult when the platform does not perform properly. Like I called in Friday and go, look, I know these numbers not matching, because I had listed, I don't know, 200 or 300 items Friday or whatever, and my numbers stayed pretty much the same. And I'm like, do you have any info on this? And she didn't even know it was a thing. I'm like, yeah, it's a thing. It's been going on for a couple of months now. So she looked it up and goes, yeah, they reopened the ticket or refreshed the ticket 2 weeks ago. And I go, yeah. And I'm concerned because I don't know if when I list 200 items, 200 of my items vanish, are taken down, or go into the ether never to be seen again. Because even when I add up my number of pages in my seller hub, they add up to basically what that number is showing me. So I have 3,000 plus items that are just non-existent on eBay. And it's not the new items I put up. So every time I put up 300 items, 300 older items are going into the ether somewhere. Are they ever going to be able to be seen again? Do they even show up on eBay? Because I don't know what to look for. I don't know what items are vanishing. Also, I do notice that there is a difference between a seller hub search, a store search, and an eBay search. You could have one of your items, search it on eBay, it's there. Search it in your store, it's there. You search it in seller hub, it won't come up no matter what. That, at least, that scenario there is hopes that they are still there. They're just not accounted for. Being that he showed up on eBay, showed up in my store, but don't show up in my seller hub. So I'm holding on to that as the positive part of it. That they are still there, they just are not being accounted for. I hope. Let's go Blues. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't even see us making the playoffs this year. I thought with the coaching change for the Blues hockey, that we would at least be a first round playoff team, but we would lose in the first round. But we've kind of started going the opposite way now. So now we'll be lucky if we do get into the first round. So, just subscribe to him. Yes, a local guy. I'll try to remember to put his link below this video. Let me get his name right. He just started YouTube. He's been selling on eBay for about 6 years. Whoops, wrong person. Or I wanted to see what the post was there. He's come up to me several times at the Benz and talked to me, introduced himself, etc. So, I'm clicking the wrong thing. Good guy. Him and his His wife's, I think he says, his wife's a nurse, and on her days off, she goes thrifting with him. So almost a similar situation to Jan. You know, Jan's a pharmacist, and she on her days off, she goes thrifting. So kind of the Dawsons Diggins is his name. So it's in the community post, but I'll try to remember to put his store below. I shared it yesterday in the community post. He had 61. He's up to 79 subscribers now. So thank you anybody who jumped over there to support him. He's a good person. So, and you know, I like promoting good people. Speaking of good people, Miss Lachey Resells. How are you today? You can make money selling almost anything, including CDs. However, if it's a low profit item, you have to be able to sell it a lot in volume, correct? And buy it in volume very cheaply. That's where I benefited from. Yeah. Unfortunately, selling in volume is not easily done. Nope. That's what, I've talked about before, like being able to find volume, right? Whether that's getting lucky at the bins. Before the bins used to pick through their media. These are all things I've done. Scoring at the bins before they used to pick through media. So I would have two of the big blue totes overfilled like this, just like a mountain of media. And me and Jan would literally fill 3 and 4 carts with media. Buying back doors or back rooms of local shops of stuff that they buy so much they can't get to it all. I've been lucky enough there. And and then obviously buying from people's collections. So, and buying it cheap. You know, most my lots I've bought in the clothes. I was lucky enough to buy out the closeout stores when a lot of the music stores were closing. So I benefited a lot from that. That being said, those examples you can use today just with different types of items. You know, I do feel that the quality of items sold in the U.S. have gone down because I think it's more consumable China junk nowadays than it was 15 years ago. So I think it's a little bit harder, but it can be done. Finding stores that are closing, especially now during this time with the economy, people need money, so you can buy collections. It's a buyer's market right now. So I'm going to push hard on yard sales this summer. I am going to be engaging in conversation with everyone. I'm going to make up a list, kind of like American Pickers do. I'm going to make up a list and hand a list out every person at a yard sale this year. Vintage concert band t-shirts, or just put concert band t-shirts, period. I ain't even going to put vintage. Media, music, CDs, blah, blah, blah. Like my buyouts in the past were 5 cents a piece, 10 cents a piece, 15 cents a piece, 18 cents a piece. Like I said, there was one where I paid $1 a piece, and that was the first big one I got from the backroom deal. And I did that just to get in the door, because to show them I'm a serious buyer. And if you have more, I'll come back for more. And then after that whole $1 a piece incident, the next one I got for 10 cents a piece. So, So, and as you see on a lot of stuff I list lately, I've been leaving the prices on there. That one's not a good example. That one paid 10 cents for it in 2006. That was a Hastings. So that one, Hastings came out to be, I think, about 10 cents a piece on some of them. Some of them were like 35 cents a piece on another trip, but before they went down to 90% off. But so I've been leaving the prices on a lot of the items just because it takes time to take them off. And that's another thing, another point about Miss Lachey is the volume is not easy. You have to have systems with putting out volume up quickly. Kind of like the short I made yesterday talking about you got to have good systems. And that includes processing, listing, and shipping. So, all right, I've done enough talking about that. I need to get this stuff shipped out, and we're going to talk about the good news I just got. So let's do orders, refresh. I am the king of all eBay YouTubers. eBay YouTubers. Yeah, that's it. Make sure I get it right. So I think he put those in the other box but didn't transfer the numbers over. I got to find out what he did there. Because it was a multiple order. And I didn't find any of them. So I think he put them in the same box, but for some reason, I don't know if he didn't combine it, so they didn't add the numbers or what. So I might have to manually add the numbers, but I'm going to wait till he gets home to, for sure, find out. That's what it seems like he did. I should just go open a box, but I don't know which box it is. Let's see. Purchase shipping labels. Do we got any international? We got one Switzerland, one UK, and that is all. That is all. All right, first up, we've got pretty cool hat. Budweiser Racing. That's a pretty cool hat. Sold for $14.50, headed to Portland, Oregon. So I got an email this morning that said, Peewee has not had a vomiting or diarrhea issue since last Wednesday. So he seems to be doing a lot better. Let's set up a time I can bring him up. I'm like, yeah, all right. That's a good thing. Now, if you don't know, Peewee is a St. Bernard looking to adopt from Springfield, Missouri. And apparently he started having seizures and diarrhea. He took him to the vet trying to figure out what's going on. Nobody could figure out what was going on. Manhun. Okay. Manhun. And then I ended up getting an email from the owner. He stated, oh, I forgot. He got Peewee got into some of my honey roasted peanuts. And he ate 3 bags of them. So I'm like, okay. So I Google honey roasted peanuts dogs. Next up, we got Casey and the Sunshine Band 8-track. Headed to Alabama, sold for $6. Now, here's the question. Here's what my question about, is AI smarter than the humans? So my first search included AI answers. My AI answer was honey roasted peanuts. It said peanuts are not good for dogs because they're slow to digest, right? But it went on to say honey roasted peanuts or flavored peanuts is very bad for a dog and could cause diarrhea, could induce spasms, which could be like a seizure, muscle spasms, and it gave another example of convulsions, I think it said. Was it convulsions? I'm not sure if convulsions, but it was another word that would indicate like seizure-like movements. So I responded back to him. I'm like, yeah, I just read that, and it actually used the word poison in the AI description. And it sounded just like everything he was describing that Peewee was going through. And he goes, I think that's what's causing it. And I go, yeah, from what I just researched, that seems to fit everything like a glove, especially if he ate 3 bags of it. And I go, maybe reach out to the vet and see if there's anything you can give him to help flush his stomach out or something like that, right? I don't know if he did that or not, but so then I called my vet up my vet called because he got the paperwork on Peewee, and he goes, well, he's had 4 seizures in 24 hours. I don't think you should adopt him. And I go, well, he ate 3 bags of honey roasted peanuts. And I read that that could be bad. He goes, no, peanuts wouldn't cause any of that stuff. But then what I read with AI was totally opposite of what the vet was saying. So I'm like, did I misread something? So I typed it all again. This time, the search came up without AI. And it said what the vet said. So I'm like, well, why did AI on my first search give me everything that I needed to hear, and basically, and sounded like it fit what was going on with Peewee, but the vet and now the Google searches and the papers I'm reading or the forums I'm reading are saying the opposite. So is AI technically smarter than the humans because it's gathered more information than what these vets were even taught? Because the pages I got on were vet responses, right? So apparently AI is saying something that fits with what happened, where the vets are saying the same thing, and that shouldn't be causing any type of seizure-like things. So AI may be, if he goes on and never has another seizure, I'm going with the peanuts is what caused it. You would think. If he got into 3 bags of peanuts, he's probably getting into other stuff too. Garth Brooks shirt. Headed to Arizona, sold for $12. So if he's that type of puppy, because he's only a year and a half old, I'm going to have to really train him to keep his nose off the table, stuff like that. Vern was very good about that kind of stuff. So I may have to do some training with this guy, with this puppy. And if I can't do it, then I'll take him to training classes. He's so young. I'll take him to training classes and have a professional do it if I can't do it. So, but my thought is, depending on what type of dog he is, if he's like a dominant dog or not. She's the dominant one of the house. She was dominant over Vern too. So if she's the dominant one, even with Peewee, then he's going to follow suit with her, and she'll be able to train him also, help train him on what to do and what not to do. I've always used the dogs prior, or the dogs that were here when I got a new puppy. They always seem to help train the new puppy into where to go when I let him out front without a leash and stuff. Of course, I do the training too at first, but and with everything else. So we'll see. Rock On Christian CD sold for $8, headed to Colorado. So we'll see. So I'll have to respond back to him. I know Jan's off tomorrow, and I'm not sure what she's off the rest of the week. So she should be off the weekend, but I don't know if she picked anything up. So I'll have to find out what day she's off so she can be here if she wants to be. She said she don't need to be. So she trusts my judgment when it comes to puppies. So I'm usually the dog whisperer of the house. But also, too, if this puppy's in a house with 2 other dogs, is he getting the proper domination from the owner? You know what I mean? Like when dog comes in this house, they know I'm the boss. So is he getting that kind of, or is he overrunning, the owner? The head of the house, basically. Is the dog the head of the house instead of the human being the head of the house? So I've got to look into that scenario too, because it's an older gentleman. His wife just passed, so he may be very docile. Is that the right word? more kind of laid back or removed, if you will, which would probably give the dog more dominance feeling. But he takes very good care of them, so I'm not sure. So a lot of variables, just like everything. Cabela's hat. Sold for $12, headed to New Jersey. I'm just mentally preparing for anything with the puppy that I might have to work on him with. So. And the one thing is, he says he hasn't been able to break the puppy of jumping on people out of happiness. So that could be bad, jumping on Jan, because the dog's probably already weighs more than Jan. Jan's lost a lot of weight. So, Bill. Plus, she's got knee replacements. She had a broken femur. You know, she's got a lot of health issues. And her balance ain't good at all. So, another pair of those Grindhouse jeans. And I looked when I pulled these, and I still got a basket of them in there that's not listed. So I need to, this is the last pair. I listed like 4 pairs of the same size, and they've all sold so far. This one's sold for $23, headed to Springfield, Ohio. So I got to get the other sizes up. And I probably got more of these in storage too. I paid $1 a piece for them when I used to do my shoe buyout that you saw in the one video I did, showing the past history of the business. Da, 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 da. So if this video is coming out and it's got some arrogant-ish title or thumbnail, just go with it. Obviously, I don't mean any of it, but I like having fun with people who get upset. I like having fun with certain people who are emotionally triggered, I guess you could say. You know, not to like somebody who don't deserve it. Like, you know, I wouldn't do nothing like that, but like, you know, just the troll type of people, more or less. I'm not cruel where I would attack somebody who is emotionally vulnerable, if you will. I'm not that mean. I could be mean, but not that mean. I like standing up for like the little people, because I used to get bullied. I told this story a lot. I used to get bullied a lot until Faith stood up for me. This big black girl in 7th and 8th grade started standing up for me. And nobody could touch me because of her. Nobody would mess with me because of her. And so that made me turn into that person, where if I saw anybody getting bullied, I stood up for them. So, Cinecore hat sold for $12, headed to Vancouver, Washington. So I don't purposely pick on people, but I will purposely pick on people who pick on other people. And get a thrill out of it. A thrill. Monty. I get a thrill out of it. Pew, 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 pew. All right. Alan Parsons Project cassette. Sold for $7, headed to San Diego, California. I've been seeing a lot more people leaving California. It's crazy what that state is becoming, man. That state used to be like a destination that everybody wanted to go to. Now it seems like so many people are leaving. And this is beyond the news saying it. I'm talking about seeing actual people leaving the state. You know, you can't really trust what a news media tells you. But when you actually see what's going on, it's pretty wild. Melody Gardot. CD sold for $7, headed to San Jose, California. So yeah, trying my close at 15%. We'll start there, and then we're going to try to, because 4 and 6 may not be a good spot for the close, right? Because there's more competition. Like with the other oddball stuff I have listed, I'm probably going to be one of few, if not the only one. Whereas close is going to be a different world, basically. So the best one for close might be 10%, you know, instead of, so I might be doing a disservice to myself putting them at 7. So that's the whole point of starting now, to break it up, to look at individual categories. And that could help you also, like say, if you just do close, well, what is James doing with his close type of thing? And what did he do, and what were the results, basically? And it could help. I figured it could help more people than leaving my store as a whole store, because how many of you have 50,000 items? How many of you have that many CDs mixed with that many cassettes, mixed with that many shoes, mixed with that many hats, right? So narrowing it down might help more people across the board figure out what's the best for them. So, because saying my store is best at 4 and 6 is totally different than saying my clothes are best at blah and blah. So next up, we've got one of Jan's things that she picks up, little stars. So these sold for $11, headed to West Virginia. You know how hard it was to find a box? Because this is like a little bit too big for everything. So I had to go with one of Jan's shot boxes. She gets a shot delivered on ice that she has to take. And I got a trash bag to wrap it all in. Try to get rid of the vibrations. And it's still coming up a little bit on top. It just barely fits in there. Hey, maybe if I proclaim myself the king of all eBay YouTubers. I gotta make sure I word that in the best possible way. Maybe it could work to my favor both ways. Getting people who obviously disagree to comment about it because it triggered them, and then I K1 them. But that whole thing I talked about last week, where if you put it out into the universe, maybe it'll come true. Not that I would be the king of something, but maybe it would help grow the channel. Self-proclaimed king of eBay YouTubers. Oh, just missed you. When I know that's not true, there's a hell of a lot of people doing it. There's a hell of a lot more people on eBay or on YouTube doing better than me with less items, so. $12 by $11 by $10. Oh, Nancy. It's almost crazy how, like, lack of how the lack of here goes simple words again. This shows how stupid I'm getting. Stupid. Use that word just because. The lack of James, why can't you think of the word? You use it all the time. Shit. I hate when this happens. I'm coming close to it, but I can't pull it out of my mouth. Taking jokes. Sarcasm. Good Lord. How the lack of sarcasm, how people are just like, I don't even know if that's the exact word I was going for, but close enough. People who have sense of, the lack of sense of humor. There, finally. Frick. Has just like, it's dissipating. It feels like. 2.9 perfect taco pin. So that's a Taco Bell pin. Sold for $9. Headed to Sacramento, California. A sense of humor. Don't take yourself too seriously. We're not getting out of this thing alive. I just had a cousin pass away. He was a smoker, so he died of lung cancer. Never stopped. As far as I know, he never stopped. He's 75, though. I hit 75. He was one of the cousins. Like, him and his brother married sisters. But them two brothers were always the joke crackers at the family reunions. Well, everybody, almost every guy at the family reunion, the Helferstay family reunion, has a sense of humor. But theirs were always the loudest. Where a lot of us is more smart-ass-ish. But that's another thing, like coming out of everything I was coming out of, kind of the area I've been coming from mentally with Vern and my dad and stuff. Like, that's one thing I'm really realizing is I've always been like a bad joker. Like, I'll say bad jokes checking out wherever or running into whoever, even to a complete stranger. Just making a bad joke. I'm kind of quick-witted when it comes to stuff. Like, I was getting out of the bathtub yesterday, and I had shaved, and she goes, "Why didn't you shave my face?" Jan did. And I turned around and pulled the towel down, showed her my butt, and go, "I did, see?" Just butt face joke, but. So I've always been a little bit quick-witted and be able to make jokes up on the fly, as bad as they are. So I started really just thinking about that a lot. Like, be more in the moment. Life's more about the moments than it is the time, right? How many days you got left? Who knows? How many moments do you have left? As many as I want there to be. So you can make up moments every moment. What is a moment? Anything from a second to 10 seconds to a minute. to 10 minutes. Sandra. So I've been just trying to be thinking more along those lines. Because, changing your mindset's about changing the way you think. And like basically training your mind over and over again so that it's just a conscious thing. So I've been trying to pull conscious memories from my past, the good parts from like my teens and 20s, on where I had no cares, right? And then the last 20, 30 years maybe, I've had to care for one reason or another, right? So now, at 53, sure, there's responsibility that I have to care for. Jan's health, Courtney. But beyond that, I don't have to care anymore. At least right now, I'm lucky enough that I got to a point in my adulthood that financially I don't have to care about anything. And that's probably like the biggest obstacle humans have to go through within this society, is getting yourself in a financial position that you don't have to care about anything. So I want to make sure I take advantage of that. It took a lot of hard work to get there, so I best enjoy it while it's here, because it could be gone tomorrow. So that's where I'm trying to train myself to enjoy the moment. Either Jan or myself could pick this up at the bins. I don't remember which one. It's the Hallmark power cord for the keepsake, some of the keepsake ornaments. So for $14, headed to Florida. So being more about the moments is what I'm trying to change my way of thinking to. No more bubbles down there. Let me grab a bubble. So, back to not taking myself so seriously. Create moments. Concentrate on moments. Not even concentrate, just concentrating now, but trying to get it so you don't, so it's consciously, a subconscious reaction. Candy. So yeah, that's where I am. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. Shrug your shoulders, yeah. Shrug your shoulders, yeah. Shoulders, yeah. Shrug your shoulders, yeah. Shrug your shoulders, yeah. Okay, boom. And then I got the two internationals to do that. I've never knew anybody named Candy. Not even their stripper name, Candy. Sandra. Announcer. Over that. Mark. Wayne. Monty. That's always been a cool name, Monty. Bill. I got a text from my friend Bill who had that stroke. He said he's got about, well, now he's probably got about 4 more weeks of recovery to go through, therapy and stuff. So at least he was good enough to text me back, so that was good to see. So I'm curious to see what kind of effects it had on him when he's done with this and he's back into the toy world at the bins and such, and the toy shows and that. So Steve and Manhun. So I talked about the accounts that are coming in and sending items to different addresses, and how I thought maybe they were an outside company or something. All those accounts are being suspended on eBay as not a registered user. So apparently I don't know what the hell's going on, but they come in, they buy stuff, and it says, if you have multiple orders from me, they all go to a different address, so please don't combine them. And they'll end up getting, hundreds of feedback, and then they get suspended. And there's been about 6 different accounts so far. So I'm not sure what they're doing, if they're doing some kind of drop shipping, but you wouldn't think that would be wrong if they're selling it someplace else anyway. Now, if they're doing it on eBay somehow, like duplicating everybody's listings just to see what will sell and then buy it from the person actually on eBay, that would seem weird to me. But I guess possible if you do but they weren't seller accounts. They didn't sell anything. So, but if they had different accounts, it probably. So I don't know exactly what they were or who they are, but 2 of them got suspended yesterday that had bought stuff from me and said they was canceling the orders. So I made sure those didn't get sent out, but I have no idea what the hell they're doing then. Because you would think if they're doing it from a different country and they're just helping save people, shipping things all together, but then they wouldn't all go to different addresses though. Kind of like that Shop Airlines. They would all go to the same address. But if they had say a Spotify store and they're bringing eBay items into their Shopify store and then selling them on Shopify and then buying them from the person who's actually really selling them on eBay, you wouldn't think that would be wrong. I don't know. But apparently whatever they're doing, something they're doing is violating something about eBay. But what that is, I have no idea. But they've bought a ton of stuff from me in the past couple of weeks. So I'm not sure. And no claims have ever been done or anything. As far as I know, the item's been received to where it goes and such. There's been no problems with them. So I have no idea what they're doing wrong. And it could just be something as simple as their location settings or something on eBay. I don't know. We got some kids' Asics. Headed to Switzerland. Sold for $8 with a big old hair on it. That was the only thing I could think of. Is if it's something to do with the location that they're registered in, and the fact that they're shipping to all these different addresses. I don't know. But people do that when they buy gifts for people, so I have no idea what's going on. $8. All right, you need a code. There we go. Sports footwear. Whoops, where are you at? There you are. Get rates. And next up, we've got the Carolina Tar Heels. Headed to the UK, sold for $7.50. $7.50, $7.48 to be exact. Hopefully the warm weather's here for good. That would be nice. I can start getting out on my bike and hiking. I was gonna go hiking yesterday, but that wind was so strong. I'm like, Print scan. I'm probably going, I do hiking and biking. I'm going to try to make myself do at least one lap at the park for the video. And when I go hiking, do a video also. And so those will probably be uploaded to this channel. So if you like those kind of videos, they should be coming soon. And if you don't have to watch them. I'm okay with that. Why wouldn't I be? All right, that is all. Thanks everybody for hanging out. And off to the post office. See you all in the next video. Later.